My name, Edmund Yakani, Executive Director of CEPO. I would like to take this opportunity with high respect to express my concern on the matters of reopening of the National Parliament or the National Legislature after the long recess. We have seen in the public domain, in the media outlets, that MPs have preconditioned that the payment of their overdue arrears and allowances should be clear first before the reopening of the National Legislature as scheduled for the 9th June 2025. Otherwise, if their overdue arrears and allowances as lawmakers are not being paid before the 9th of June 2025, they may not be ready to attend or to engage on the reopening of the National Legislature. Our lawmakers, we respect it is your rights because it's associated with the things to do with all services that you required, which are rights, being it health or being whatever type of right, or even right to life, right to food, because it's linked with your overdue arrears and allowances. But we are appealing to you with high respect that if our civil servants can sacrifice for over 1 year without salaries and they are in their offices daily performing, can you as our lawmakers, with the respect and honor, also sacrifice to make sure that the National Legislature reopen after a long recess? Because once our National Legislature is on motion, then you as the lawmakers have the prerogative to question behaviors of the executive on some of the national interest decisions, like the delay of payment of your arrears and allowances and salaries of civil servants. But also the reason why we need to see the parliament on motion, because we have seen insecurity in rise in the country, in several parts of the country. We have seen what has happened in Tonch East, now what is going on in Jongole between the Twitch and the Duke community over fishing. We're losing lives. We see road ambushes. We see civilian safety and protection is under question in several events. We see airstrikes as a confrontation have resumed between SSPDF and SPLA-IO. So all these require you to be on motion as lawmakers, for you to question the executive and to hold the executive accountable. But also would like to bring to your attention that besides those priorities that we have mentioned, the question of you meeting the enactment of the national budget as per the financial year, which start in July, and we are aware that always our national budget is enacted beyond the beginning of the financial year, which is not a good practice. So we only have the month of June to exercise all the actions that we can to make the national budget for the financial year 2025-2026 is enacted before July 2025. So we are appealing to you as a lawmakers with all these priorities. Take a responsibility and show a sacrifice to ensure that the parliament reopen after the long recess. And besides this also, as violence have resumed in the country among the armed groups, we have seen the country commitment towards demobilization and disarmament of children, or working towards prevention of children to be associated with armed groups. Remember, there's an action plan of the government with the international community on this. We are worried that as the violence resumes, children are now associated again with armed groups, which is a very big, grave mistake that is putting the image of the country in a shameful position. So it is you as the lawmakers to come back to the parliament and question the organs of the government. To what level are they ensuring specific institutions of defense and security that children are not recruited within their forces? And if the children within their forces, they are demobilized and they are sent back to their families, because we have committed ourselves with the national action plan that the country will not engage in matters of making sure that children are enrolled into any of the security and defense institution. Therefore, these are huge demand and expectation that we need to be delivered while the parliament is on motion. Finally, I would like to appeal with high respect and honor to Your Excellency President to ensure that there's a compliance from the financial institution in availing funding for the reopening of our national legislature after the long recess. Our appeal to you, Your Excellency President, with due respect and honor, to ensure that the Parliament reopening on the 9th of June is not adjourned to another day, because it will have huge consequences on the function of the organ of the government as an oversight organ like National Legislature in holding the executive accountable. At the same time, also, it will impact us in our regional mechanism if we fail to enact our financial year for our financial budget for the financial year 2026-2027. As you know, per the conditions of East African Community, we need to have our budget as early as before the beginning of our financial year, because we need to show compliance with East African standards as East African member state national budgets enactment is concerned. Therefore, with respect and honor, again, I repeat myself, Your Excellency President, let the Parliament reopen on the 9th of June 2025. We need your influence as our president, as our leader, to ensure our parliament is back on motion, because they have huge responsibility among them in engaging on political transitional process for transition the country from violence to peace. Thank you very much.